Oradea is 8 miles from Romania's border with Hungary. And more than 20 years after the fall of communism, city streets are as busy as any other Eastern European town at rush hour.
And in a developing country, especially now one that's a member of the European Union, you would expect everywhere to be moving forward at some pace or another.
But great expectations aren't always reality. It's a lesson learned for Kevin Hoy after years of missions work in Romania.
What you realize as you travel around is that so many of the gypsy communities haven't moved forward at all. They're exactly where they were, whether it's 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
In the gypsy village of Salard, people have spent generations away from the rest of Romanian society.
The way they've been brought up, like from generations, they would follow their immediate needs, but then be unable to see the perspective.
This gypsy village is actually one of the poorest in the area. Homes like the one behind me are made of mud brick. You can take a look and you see it's not sturdy at all, easy to crumble. This is also an area where children don't have the opportunity to go to school, and that can make it rather difficult to dream. Dreams of a better life are even more difficult for the adults, like 27-year-old Robert Magori, who says it's too late to even think about an education.
I think the only way I can make some money is to be there when people need us to help them picking the crops and so on.
Hope can be hard to find in this gypsy village.
Sometimes they might be violent, not to me, not to us, but to each other.
Education is a big factor, but prejudice also plays a major part in the fact they're just trapped. And whatever we're trapped by, in the end of the day, the truth of the gospel can release us.
Kevin and his team see the reality of that truth just a few miles away, here in the Tilag Gypsy Village, once known for crime and violence.
For a while, especially when I wasn't a Christian, I was really angry on these people, knowing that they put a bad sign, a bad mark on my country.
This gypsy village is home to about 40 families. That's roughly 500 people, and it's seen a lot of changes since the year 2000. That's the year Kevin Hoy met a young gypsy begging on the streets.
We were on our way to eat. This little boy was hungry. He came with us. Over the 2 hours, we learned a lot about his community, his family, and he ended up taking us back to meet his mum and dad and his 8 brothers and sisters.
We were shocked to see them on our door. I was with one of my kids in my arms. And I asked my child, who are these people? And he was like, they are my friends.
Now that little boy has children of his own. And in the last 10 years, that friendship produced running water for the village, a neighborhood store, a school, and even a church where gypsies have come to Christ.
When people have lost hope, which so many have here in Romania, you realize that in the economic circumstances of this country, the social limitations of it, their only hope is Christ.
The Tilag Gypsy Village is part of a growing Gypsy Revival. It's a story documented by Tudor Patan and Romania's Alpha Omega television network.
God, in His mercy, decided now to work with strong power to these groups marginalized for centuries here in Europe. And it's a sign for me that the time was very short.
Patan witnessed what many call the Toflia miracle. In southeast Romania, 500 gypsies were baptized after accepting Christ in 2009, the largest baptism in Romania's history. Recording artist Daniel Dinescu led worship.
We gypsies have singing in our blood, but this has nothing to do with our faith. We sing from our hearts because we were a marginalized people. I remember from school, I was cast aside and despised. But when I was born again, I felt a tremendous peace and joy.
Hundreds more answered the call to Christ this year. Kevin Hoy now prays revival will soon reach the residents of Salard. But in the meantime, he and his team preach the gospel without words.
There is a place, of course, for talking, and in an educated society, preaching the word, and this is absolutely fundamental. But many of the people we're dealing with here are uneducated. We could talk to them all day long and they wouldn't be able to grasp what it is we're trying to say. Practical, evidence of God's love is what the people need.
Ephraim Graham, CBN News, Oradea, Romania.